Hey everybody. So I saw a design online that I really liked and just wanted to kind of show everybody how to do it. And that is basically a swirl up here and a mandala here. I've also seen a swirl in the middle, but this one comes like from the shoulder down, and the mandala is from the corner up. And so it's just kind of a cool little effect, but I just wanted to show everybody how to do it. It's pretty quick and easy, and as always we've got a shirt that's been soaked in soda ash and spun out. So we'll do our usual mandala here as our center point, and we're just going to do an 8-point. So 1 fold gets you that 4-point, 2 folds get you the 8-point, and 3 folds will get you a 16-point. But I'm not going to mess around with that today. So yeah, just make sure that your lines are all lined up. And when you flip it, you want to ensure that your folds stay intact, or else you'll have to redo it. So just going to do the same thing on the other side. 1 fold, it's a 4-point, and the second fold will get you that 8-point, and 3 folds will get you a 16-point. But today we're just doing the 8-point. That'll be good enough. So now we'll wrap that mandala, and then we'll do the swirl. I'm going to put some elastics on here just so I don't lose my fold. So I'm going to go about 2 inches up, maybe 1.5 inches or so. And you can do a little slip knot, and then sometimes that's easier. But today we're just going to do a quick pull, keep the tension on. And once you wrap it like once or twice with tension on there, seems like the sinew just bites down into the fabric. So in the typical J3 creation fashion, we're just going to do a zigzag. And to do that, I'm just going to go up and put my palm on there, pull, and that'll kind of lock that into the fabric. Then I'll do another wrap and pull. You can do that, 5-10 times, however many times you need to ensure that you get a nice white line. So next little triangle thing, again, we're gonna wrap it, put the palm on, and just pull until you feel that sinew kind of lock into the fabric and in on itself. So might do a couple more, but we're almost done with the mandala. Then we'll basically unfold everything that's not sinewed up, and we will do our spiral then. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. trying to count the wraps and pulls I'm doing with the sinew while talking. So that's fun. But anyway, almost done. Alright, so that's pretty much it. I'll cut a little tail on here just so that we can be sure to identify Okay, so I'm cutting a little tail on here just so we can make it easier to unravel. Get the elastics off, and that'll just give you a nice little mandala in the corner of the shirt. So now we're going to go back to the starting stage, and just the opposite of the mandala, we're going to do the spiral. And there's a lot of crazy cool videos out there on how to get like a perfect spiral. This isn't going to be one of them. I might try to do a decent spiral, but I'm not out there trying to do a perfect spiral. But basically, you pick your center point right about here. Could be here, 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 over here if you want. But today, right now, we're going to do here. Just grab a little pinch and twist. And you can kind of make it a little easier on yourself by just kind of pulling those pleats out, making a bunch of smaller ones. There's probably a lot easier ways to do that, but anyway. Getting the basic idea of the spiral there. And again, just kind of try to push your folds down and keep on going. So there, I think that's pretty darn good. We'll have to leave a little bit of room, kind of scrunch that guy, and let the mandala hang off to the side so that we aren't like getting any cross die action. So there is your spiral mandala. It'll be fun to see how it turns out and get it to the dye station as soon as we can. Man, I want to get that in there. Maybe one more. Okay, so I'm going to dye on the back of the spiral, and you can already see it's kind of a triangular spiral, but that should be okay. So that's it, and we'll get it over to the dye station just as soon as we can and see what magic we create. Okay, so we made it to the dye station, and I'm going to start with my lightest colors first, and I'm also going to start with the mandala side. So here we go. I might leave a little bit of room just because it'll create kind of a white center, and that's always fun. Just a little bit of purity at the center of things. And to do that, you'll kind of want to make sure that you leave it at an angle so that the dye goes down and not this way, if that makes sense, or even sideways. You really want to make sure that it stays up. So, next color, orange. And I might go a little over my sinew here, and that's okay. Some people like to do like really specific little triangles, but not me. But you want to make sure that you keep your hands clean, or else when you go to grab other places, you can end up with dye in spots that you won't necessarily want them. So just be cautious. I think it's kind of fun to go about a triangle and a half as far as color. I'm gonna go back with the orange and hit that. Get that good saturation. Maybe even hit a little bit more here. So ideally, I'm also going to do the same kind of color scheme on the swirl. At least kind of try to keep it similar. I'll use the same colors, but that'll probably be about it. So after our light colors, we're going to start with the darker colors, but also still start with the lightest of the darker colors. I'm also going to skip a triangle or a space, square, whatever you want to call it, because I'm starting a new color, and it'll probably run. So just kind of trying to give room for error, as it were. And you also want to make sure that you get good saturation. That's looking pretty good. So then we're going to do dark blue in the center, or not center, but that inner chunk. Gotta get my lids off here. So this is the royal blue from Dharma. I typically use Dharma for most of my dyes. So again, just making sure you get good saturation, and you probably don't want to go too far into the spiral. So we're just gonna set it down there. You're free to do, diagonal. You can do multicolor everywhere. Your only limit is your imagination. But I'm going to do the same color on the same side. And again, you don't have to do that. It's just what I'm doing for this video. So, I'm gonna do thin coat of orange. I like that orange. And then red. Just a little bit of red there. And we'll go with our blues. So, a little bit of dye dripping, and I don't want it to get on the mandala, so I'm going to try to be cautious and keep my area clean. that is that side. So we'll see how that turns out in about 48 hours. That's gonna be how long I let it sit. Some people do 12 to 24 hours, but I want to let the dye fully bond with the fabric, and that gives it enough time to do that. So, see you in 48 hours. Okay, so this is how this turned out. I think it turned out pretty great. The mandala is incredible. And the spiral's pretty awesome. I almost wish I would have done little triangles like the usual spiral instead of some weird pattern that I did. But anyway, I think it turned out beautiful and I love it. So let me know what you get.